of yesteryear. Now, Gimel Kislev is going to mark the Hilula of a really great rabbi. His name was Rabbi Yechezkel Chaim מאיר Cohen Z'tl. He was born in English year 1914 and passed away on Gimel Kislev, the 3rd of Kislev, in English year 1973. Now become a great rabbi, Sephardi rabbi, and Chaver Din in himself, a member of the Jewish court, and become the rabbi, let's just say, of the city of Berchovat, a very prominent position. Let's explore some of the great highlights of the rabbi's life. Now, he was born in an area called Peres, and he came from great heritage. His father's name was Meir Cohen, and his mother's name was Tuti Sarah. Very great people in himself. There were sad ships, unfortunately, in his life. When he was very young, only 4 years of age, I believe it's reported over that his father passed away. And while he was 7 years old, he would move to the land of Israel. At that stage in time, we're talking about around the year 1921, and he would make Aliyah, I believe, with his mother and 3 brothers. And they would live in Jerusalem at that point in time. And while in Jerusalem, he would actually enter and learn in the famous Talmud Torah called the Doresh Tzion. Very, very important. It happens to be a great Talmud Torah, Beit Midrash, and Beit Sefer in Jerusalem. Many of the great rabbis of the future would actually learn there while they were younger, and we've spoken about that before. Also, he would learn in the Beit Midrash called Mizrahi in Jerusalem, and afterwards he would learn in Yeshivat Nahar Shalom. It's actually, and I believe the Beit Uziel and also Yeshivat Porat Yosef. There he would learn with other great rabbis, including Rabbi Yaakov Meir, who I believe at one point in time was a chief rabbi, Rishon LeZion, and the famous Rabbi Ovadia Hodaya, who we've mentioned about on various occasions before. He was one of the famous Dayanim and Kabbalists, and the author of the Shelot and Shuvot called Yaskin Abdi. Very, very great rabbi in of itself. And he would also, I believe, receive smicha in the rabbanot. He would get rabbinic ordination at that point in time. And it's actually interesting, was very active in it. He was also a shochet and a bodek. He would actually perform kosher slaughter. And we would actually come and I think he had a connection, if I'm not mistaken, with the famous Kabbalist Rabbi Shlomo Eliezer Elfandari. And he himself happened to be a great rabbi. We spoke about the Alfandari, let's say, rabbinic dynasty in of itself. And also the famous Rishon LeZion, Rabbi Ben Zion Meir Chai Uziel, he had a close connection with. And you learned, I believe, in the yeshiva of Sharei Tzion for a total period of about 8 years, it's reported over. And very much more can be spoken about him. We spoke about his connection to Rabbi Shlomo Eliezer Alfandari, also known as the famous Saba Kadisha, who I recommend everyone to learn about if you've got an extra point in time. And he was also close with Rabbi Nissim Elishar, who also happened to be, I believe, let's just say, one of the famous rabbis and a rabbi that would actually open up and start found neighborhoods in Jerusalem in of itself and be part of the Ha'edah Sfaradit Yerushalayim, and I believe a president of the Porat Yosef Yeshiva. So he had a lot of close ties in of itself. He would tell over like different shiurim. He would give in the Beit Knesset to the throngs, the public throngs in Jerusalem, respectively, and had many students he garnered in of himself. He would found in Jerusalem, I believe, the Chevrat Tzatikilim called the Bnei Ami, which was where people would actually say tefillin on Tehillim on Shabbatot, the chapters of Psalms in of itself, and in various different Beit Knessets, large Beit Knessets in Jerusalem, respectively. And I think he would actually be appointed to various positions through the Rabbanut of Yisrael to have a position as a part of the Eidah Sfaradit in of itself. Chaver HaRabbanut HaRishit Be'ir Rehovot. He would become part of the rabbinic community in the city of Rehovot, a very prominent position. And he would eventually, I think in the Hebrew, Tafshin Yutet, be appointed the rabbi of the city of Rehovot. And I think this was done actually through the Rabbanut HaRishit Yisrael, very prominent position in of itself, and we should learn more within regards to that. I think also he had close friendship with Rabbi Yaakov Moshe Toledano, who I think we spoke about 2 months ago. We covered a video when it was his Hilula. And he would work also as a Dayan, a Jewish judge, in the Beit Din of the Rabbanei in Brachovat. So he was in Rehovot. He took a very hands-on position in all the areas, basically, in the Torah community and the Torah life cycle of the people. Now, it's actually interesting. It's reported over he would become the Rosh Yeshiva, or would be appointed as the Rosh Yeshiva, or the famous Yeshivat Bet El in Jerusalem. I think this was only, though, a couple of weeks before he had passed away. So I don't know if he actually took on the role at any stage in time, or whether it was a question of him being appointed or had actually worked as that those few weeks. Now, he passed away in, I believe, on Gimel Kislev in the Hebrew year, Taf Shin Lamed Dalet, and he was buried in Har HaMenuchot cemetery over there. So he passed away, I believe, in 1973. We're talking about 51 years ago here from the time of recording. And he was really, really very much a great rabbi. I think he left 8 children. He was... his wife's name was Rabbanit Yael. Now, he wrote great books in itself, also including among the books was Yeminecha Hashem. I think this book in itself was concentrating on the halachot of the festival, Jewish festival of Pesach. I think that was printed in the Hebrew year, Tafshin Aleph. Then there was Imrei Yechezkel, which was, let's say, Perushim and Chidushim, teaching novelties in himself of the halacha and Agada. And this came out, I think, after he passed away, I think in 2 volumes in himself, in the English year 1983. So that would have been about 10 years after the great rabbi had passed away. And I think he wrote down many other essays. He actually left us. I'm not sure if it was in manuscript form or not. I think there was various articles. They were published, I believe, in various different journals. I think he had this famous article called the Zacha Amalek, which was printed in the Torah publication called Kol Sinai, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was printed in the issue, the actual issue in of itself that it had been printed in, was printed in English in 1963. So that would have been about 10 years before he had passed away. And I think he also more essays were written in various other journals. Now, he passed away in English in 1973 on Gimel Kislev. We're talking about 51 years ago from the time of recording. So please, friends, don't forget to light candles in his memory. We've learned about many great rabbanim on this series. More than 500 rabbis we have concentrated on, friends, over here. We are a community here learning the wisdom of the great rabbis of yesteryear. Please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share the videos. If you happen to be related to any of these great rabbanim, please send me an email. Let me know more about the great chachamim of yesteryear. I'd love to know more. Please, any information you know on these great rabbanim, tell other people, and let's perpetuate their memory and make sure everyone knows about these great chachamim of yesteryear. We're concentrating here in this series on the great Oriental rabbanim, Spanish rabbanim, and those different vicinities. So wishing you all a great day and take care.